So why did I just cancel a whole bunch of titles from my pull list? The answer has to do with my 2022 comic book collecting goals, and all those answers are in this video. Stick around, I'm going to go through it with you. Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube land. It is your good buddy Philtastic Phil here, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. So just as I said in the introduction to this video, I've taken a lot of books out of my pulls, and this all is going to feed into my 2022 comic book collecting goals. I'm not only going to explain to you exactly what I intend to do with my collection this year, because this is going to be pretty kind of a different year than I've had since I started collecting, which is like almost 30 years ago at this point. We won't go there. First, though, I do want to apologize that this video is coming out a little bit later than I anticipated it to. We're recording this, I'm on the last Friday of January. I had a tetanus shot earlier this week, and I've been kind of dealing with some of the nastier side effects of the shot. More on that in a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm doing first, and then I'm going to tell you why. So I'm literally kind of putting the cart before the horse. So I guess not literally, but you know what I mean. So anyway, as I've said before on this channel, in case you haven't watched my videos, my pull list has gotten pretty out of hand, I think, in the last couple weeks. And the two biggest last couple months, I should say, the two biggest culprits are X-Men and Batman. Now, I've collected other titles, of course, in between, but those are predominantly what makes up my pulls. And I understand you don't have to get every single title. I know that Jonathan Hickman even said, well, I didn't intend for everybody to go get every X-Men title. But let's face it, if you collect one, you want to collect a lot of them. So I decided this year, and with good reason, which you'll hear soon, I really have to kind of go down to brass tacks and figure out exactly what I want to read. If not for budgeting purposes, but space purposes. You know, I've been collecting, again, since I'm 13 years old. I'm starting to run out of room here. And that's going to kind of go into another point. But what I decided to do first was I decided to limit myself to just 3 or 4 X-Men titles. I'm still kind of finalizing exactly where I'm going to go with them, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I know I'm keeping the regular X-Men series, I know I'm keeping the Wolverine series, and I know that I'm keeping New Mutants in my pulls. As far as where I kind of go from there, I know that Marauders I'm kind of looking at and trying to see what's going to go on, what I'm going to do. I am not going to be I'm not going to be starting the new series, Legionnaires or Legions, whatever they keep the name at now. It just keeps changing. I didn't enjoy the lead-up story to it. I can't even think of the name of it. It was just very strange. And I'm definitely not getting on Knights of X. Unfortunately, I thought the Excalibur series was consistently my least favorite. I'd even go far as saying the worst of the X titles, and no more. That being said, I'm still going to read them, of course. I'm just going to wait a couple months and read them online. That's going to save me a lot of, some money, of course, as far as picking up the books themselves, and of course some space. With DC, I've just kind of gone cold turkey. I've dropped everything pretty much in print in DC. The only things I'm kind of wrapping up now is I'm finishing out the Batman Catwoman series. And I think that only has like 2 or 3 issues left at this point. And I am finishing out Wonder Girl, just one more issue. I dropped all the Batman books. Again, I thought that they were good, not great. But with DC, I felt like they should just change the name of it at this point to Batman Comics. I mean, I guess it kind of technically is DC Comics, Detective Comics, but you know what I mean. So again, the first phase of this is significantly cutting down on my pulls. I do intend to subscribe to DC's online service. I think it's DC Unlimited. I haven't heard great things, and I know that there's a bigger delay with newer books coming out. But I kind of like that because guess what? There's some older DC titles I really want to delve into. But I'm kind of putting that one off for a while again because I know that there is a 6-month delay, whereas Marvel has a 3-month delay on their online titles. The second phase of this... I'm sorry, before I move on, I should also tell you that I'm also cutting down significantly on some of my other Marvel titles as well. I think Black Widow right now is the only other title outside of the X titles that I'll be getting in my pulls. I dropped Fantastic Four. Um, but that's I will be picking up at least a couple independent titles. Uh, Reason being is that I know that the independent titles are not going to be reprinting to the same frequency as they were. At least that's what Image Comics has said. I forgot who exactly said it, but I remember hearing that a couple weeks ago. Due to the paper shortage, they said they don't expect a reprint. And I figure rather than subscribe to what would essentially be a third digital service, I might as well just pick up what I'd like to pick up. If I miss it, oh well, either it'll come around at some point or whatnot. I don't know, to be honest with you, if we are in a paper shortage. Hear me out. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, nor am I a industry insider or anything like that. I'm only basing it on the fact that if you go to CVS, they still give you a receipt that you can TP like 4 houses with. I mean, if there is a paper shortage, somebody's got to let CVS know, because come on. Anyway, going back to the second phase of my 2022 goals and where I'm taking my collection, I really am finally taking the time to sit and rebag and board and organize my collection. This is something my wife is very pleased to hear because I am a little all over the place. I'm really disorganized. I started a little bit on it already, and one of the kind of cool things about that is not only are you keeping your books safe and of course whatnot, but you're finding things that you either forgot you had or knew you had, you just couldn't really find. For example, this is just from the first couple days. Here is Thor number 4. I'm not even looking at the legacy number at this point, from the new series. And I only picked up a couple of issues of the new Thor series. It just wasn't my bag. I stopped here, and supposedly this is the introduction of the latest villain, so people are looking for that book. Marvel Premiere number 27, which I could be wrong. I think this is supposed to be the first appearance or the first solo story for Satana. I don't know why I have this, but that's cool. Captain Marvel number 1. I forgot which volume this is, but I remember this was, I think, the second appearance of Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel rather than Ms. Marvel. Here's another one a lot of people have been jumping up about. Avengers number 269. Kang story. This one I knew I had, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I got this year for like $1, and now everybody's going Kang crazy. Here is one I've been looking for. 2 of them I've been looking for a while, to be honest with you. And I knew I had, but I couldn't figure out exactly where I put them because they weren't where they should be. Hence disorganization. And I'm glad that I found them, because I think I'm sending at least one of these into the Brian Michael Bendis CGC signing. Yeah, I think that's at the end of March. Ultimate Fallout number 4. I bought this off the rack when it came out. And All New Spider-Man number 1. First of the Miles Morales solo series. I don't know if this one is going to wind up going to CGC, to be honest with you, just because I do have a couple spine ticks in here. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know how badly that affects the grade, help me out. I know that they let you do a little bit. There is maybe one pressable defect, but I mean, as you know, if you have a color break, that's it pretty much. And this one has a couple. See if I could get those here. If not, look, I did read the series and enjoy it. It's just cool to have in the collection. And one thing I'm noticing too, just going through these, is that you find these hidden treasures, again, that you may not have remembered that you had or just didn't know where they were. Rather than going out and spending the money on comics that you don't have, you're finding the value in collections that you do have. It's like a treasure hunt. Before I go on, I'm just going to say this too. I know that there's some people now who might be saying, well, what about your LCS? You're cutting your LCS out? No, that's not the case at all. My LCS knows exactly what's going on. They know that I'm going to be cutting down on things like variants and stuff. At the same time, I should also mention that if there's a deal or so that comes my way, I'm not gonna, scoff at it. But truth be told, after that last unboxing video I did just a couple weeks ago, there's really no other big grails or big books that I'm interested in owning. Um, Again, I'm not going to pass up a dumb deal. Maybe I would like that first appearance of Sabretooth and Iron Fist, but it's not something I'm sweating over. And truth be told, the collection goals that I have, a lot of them are just out of reach now for other reasons. One thing I've said before, my goal is to get a complete run of Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. Now I'm at the point where all the ones I need are like 100 and less. And these happen to be all the books that are just going crazy in value because people think at every turn the X-Men are going to pop up. If I keep reading how many theories there are about Omega Red popping up in the next Marvel movie or Marvel TV show, I'm just going to go crazy. And look, is he an interesting character? Maybe. I wouldn't go as far as saying, "Oh, this is a character we definitely need to see in the movies." I mean, if anything, I think his Cold War history is a little bit of interest. But as I've pointed out before, he's only ever won like 2 fights, at least that I'm aware of. His debut, and I remember. Uh, Actually, I don't even remember a second fight that he won. Anyway, if you do know, leave a comment and we'll sort it out, I guess. But I digress. Um, so, why am I doing all this? What's kind of spurred me on this task in 2022? Not of growing my collection, but making it just a little bit slicker, I guess you could say, more kind of conscientious. And hey, look, maybe I might even sell off some of my collection too. What spawned this? And I'll tell you what exactly. Coming in March 2022, I will be a father. That's right. After a little bit of trying, my wife and I will be parents. As of I'm recording this today, she's 34 weeks along. Um, we're both very excited and nervous at the same time. Um, I haven't told a lot of YouTube people yet. Some of my friends know, my family, of course, knows. Um, but I do want to give a nice shout out, by the way, before I forget, to Pretty Fly for a Filipino guy. I don't think he has a YouTube channel, but you could find him on Instagram at I have the comic runs or I have the comic runs, something like that. I know I repeated myself twice. I can't think at this moment, but yeah, we're going to be parents in just a couple months. And one thing I've quickly learned is that babies are expensive. Um, I'll tell you, we went into Bye Bye Baby. It's like buying a used car. We were trying out some of the carriages, and the guy comes over, and I was looking at a carriage. Maybe it was like $200. And I was like, "Oh, how do you like that?" And I was like, "It's okay. It's a carriage." He's like, "Well, if you like, I could show you one of the carriages that are safer." um, and it's like, okay, so let's see this, and you wind up looking at a carriage that is great. It's 5 times more expensive, but it's the safest that you can get. It's kind of like they almost kind of like came out to me like, well, we're not supposed to tell you this, but if you get that carriage that's like $200 or whatever, as soon as you leave the store, we call DIFUS. And Janet over there will kind of look at you funny every single time that you come into the store. Yeah, I'm joking, of course, but my point is that I've got to free up, my expenses, and comic books are the place to cut. I do want to share one other thing with you too. I've, as I said, we were trying for a little while, and one thing that we did in September 2019, I took my wife to Disney World. She had never been. Disney World and Universal Studios. I'm glad that I did because, number one, it was before the dark days, when you can travel freely without worrying about getting a virus or getting sick. And it just, everything kind of clicked well. And one thing that we did was we took a onesie with us and we took some pictures with characters, thinking we'll use this for the announcement. And then, of course, I forgot that we even took the pictures when we did our announcement. But one thing that I'm sure that I made sure at least that we did is when we went to Universal, we of course met and got a signed picture with Spider-Man. Now look, I know what you're saying. That's not Spider-Man. I know that's not the real Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man's off fighting crime. This is one of his assistants or something like that. And yeah, you could tell my hair's a little bit shorter, and actually lost a little bit of weight. I think some of that since that picture was taken as well. But this, I think, is going in the baby's room. I don't know. My wife's in charge of that. So if she wants it there, it'll be there. If not, it'll go in a cabinet or something. Um, but yeah, he's going to be a little comic book fan. I can tell you that much. In fact, my mom already gifted us his first Groot and Miles Morales plushie. If you know me, you know that I'm a Groot fan. I have a Groot pencil holder, and I've got two Groots in our dining room. My wife lets me keep in the dining room, at least for now. So the baby Philtastic also has his own Groot. So in short, 2022 is going to be an exciting year overall for me. Yes, my comic book collection is not going to grow as much. It'll be sleeker. And I won't be up to reading as much, and you're probably not going to see as many unboxings. But you know what? I think I have a good reason why it's not going to be the same. With that, I want to thank you for checking out this video, and for, of course, watching my channel. If you're not subscribed already, please go ahead and do so. Give me a thumbs up and all that fun YouTube jazz. Thanks again for watching. Peace, love, and comics.